Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's kind of stay away from that. Yeah, right.
All right, we'll get things started here with Nebraska coach Amy Williams. Huskers host Cal Baptist on Sunday at 11 a.m. Huskers are 11-0. Coach, if you'd like to make an opening statement and then make questions.
Yeah, well, this week we've been really working hard to put the exclamation point on incredible semester and just encouraging our team to finish strong with their finals. And then we're going to try to do the same thing on Sunday with putting an exclamation point on our non-conference schedule. We've had a great start this season, and we'd like to continue that and cap things off with another win.
Just how exciting has it been, not just the start to your season, the start to the men's season, where both of you are at this point where you're both undefeated?
Yeah, it's so exciting. I don't know if I've felt any more stress than I did watching the men's game at Illinois and just the ups and downs of that ball game. But I think it just shows kind of how emotionally invested both teams are kind of in each other's success right now. It's just so fun to get caught up in everything that they've got going, and it continues to make us want to raise the bar for our own program. And it's really been enjoyable. I think both teams are teams that Husker Nation can get behind and really be excited about how hard they try to play and leave it all on the line for our fan base. And so it's just a really fun time.
What is that Nebraska basketball culture like? So many of your players go support them, so many of their players support you too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little bit of the culture of just Nebraska athletics in general, and it's intentional in this department, the way that all of our athletes eat together at the training tables and, study together and, have study groups with other athletes. And just, I think that there's a intentionality to creating a camaraderie in this athletic department. Obviously, Husker men's and women's basketball, we're right down the same hall with each other. Our locker rooms are straight across the hall. Our offices are right down the hall from each other. And so I think the proximity and just kind of the likeness that we have in our sport creates a little unique and special bond there between those two teams. But in general, I think the athletic department has just a culture of camaraderie and support of each other, and it's pretty fun to be a part of.
You guys obviously have a really challenging start to Big Ten with USC and Iowa. How important is it to make sure this game on Sunday is the main focus and not look ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it's critical, and we've been really good about that all season of just, what's the most important game on the schedule, the next one. And we know Cal Baptist is a very formidable opponent that's had a lot of success, and so it's not something we can afford to overlook. And from me personally, I'm just, concerned about what the strategies and game plans are to help us become the best version of ourselves and to beat Cal Baptist on Sunday. And then those problems after Christmas I can worry about during the break.
If you win, you'll tie for second longest active win streaks in the program at 12. What would it mean to win that game and then just finish kind of the non-conference undefeated? What would it mean for your program momentum-wise?
Yeah, I'm so glad that Jeff can keep track of all of those program records of this and that, because those are not the things that this team is focused on. It's really being able to. We wanted to use the non-conference schedule to sharpen us up for Big Ten play, to be the best team we're capable of when we start heading in down the stretch into postseason. And we know that every single night in conference play, it's going to be an absolute battle and grind. We had 12 teams from this league in the NCAA tournament a year ago, and the one that got left out went on to win the WBI national title in the other tournament. So I feel like that the competitiveness night in, night out is just easy to document in the league. And so our ability to use these non-conference games in this schedule to be able to play against opponents that have provided different defensive looks, some zone looks, some teams that have tried to take, Britt out with a box and one, some that have pressed us and thrown those challenges our way. We played Virginia in our Thanksgiving tournament. They were the #1 rebounding team in the country as far as rebounding margin and grabbing 50% of their offense, of their missed shots, So that presented an incredible rebounding challenge when that was, a real point of emphasis for us. And so all of those tests that we've had in our non-conference schedule, we just feel like have been sharpening us up to prepare us for the competitiveness that's coming with the Big Ten Conference.
Was that intentional, kind of with the scheduling?
Yeah, I mean, there is so much intentionality that goes into our scheduling, and most of it is about, net and trying to help put us in the best position with that net ranking and, for seeding and selection purposes down the stretch. And those are things that we're constantly talking about, in touch with the Big Ten Conference, going through their scheduling metrics to see a win on a neutral site versus this opponent would do what for us, and so a lot of those things are what we're trying to be intentional with. But then after that, it is, can this opponent do something that's really going to help prepare us for what we're going to face? And I think we just, part of it is strategy, intentional. Amanda Hart is our general manager. She's primary scheduler for us, and she's done a meticulous job. Part of it's kind of luck. You at this point, it's really hard to predict what another team's roster is going to look like when you're signing contracts to be able to know exactly if this will be a team that's going to press you or what they're going to do. But I think, this year it's worked out that our non-conference schedule has really done for us exactly what we needed to do.
Amy, can you please shed some light on Jess Petri and just the way that she's evolved as a scorer? She's been in double figures in all the 2 games.
Yeah. Jess Petri is kind of the mama bear on the team, and I would say just one of the most mature athletes that we have. And I think part of that is she's been away from home for a long time when she, left as a high schooler to go to train at the Center of Excellence. And I think, it just creates kind of a maturity and a player that our team really looks up to. But it's been really fun watching her this year just because of the training that she's put in, play with a lot of confidence. And she shows that with her ability to just be versatile and take perimeter shots with confidence, put the ball on the floor from the perimeter with confidence, play with her back to the basket with confidence, and just bounce back and forth to whatever we need defensively. And I think it's showing with the confidence she's playing with.
With as much as you guys are scoring this season so far, how much do you feel like there's still another gear that you guys can reach at some point throughout the year?
Yeah, I feel that way every time I watch film back. and I think our team would agree that, we like to show some of the positive things when our execution was great, but we also have plenty of clips and opportunities where we can continue to get better and make reads be more deceptive, not have deflected passes, do the little things that will help us continue to raise the bar on the offensive side of the ball as well as defensively.
What can you say about the mental toughness of your team? Because in the preseason press conference, it felt like much of the talk was who's not on the court. No Natalie, no Widener. But they haven't cared about that. They've just focused on who is out there and focused on their assignments.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that. And I think that Natalie and Allison still have a large part to do with that because our team sees the way that they're working their tails off in the weight room and in their rehab and out on the basketball court, just, working to get back out on the court with us. They know how much those two young ladies would give to be available. And so I think that part of the success of a Maya Hargrove or a, Logan Nisley, those are the type of players, Cal and Hake that want to play hard for Natalie and for Allison and for the players that don't get to be out there doing what we all are and what we love to do. And so I think they're massive impact, but I do think it has shown just great confidence and mental toughness that this group is like, hey, next man up, whoever can, whatever I can bring to the table, I'm going to do that for this team. Yeah, I'm really proud of the way that they're working. I think that our staff, as well as those two individuals, are being very meticulous about reaching certain benchmarks and milestones before we push anything too fast or too far. But just really just so proud of the way that they just they come in early. They're there. They work. They throw themselves into. They don't miss one single team thing to do rehab or their process. They're there with us with everything we do, and then all of their rehab and stuff comes outside of the team work. And it's been very important to both of those two to be fully engaged in what we're doing as a team, and that's been important to our team culture and our success.
Have you already started planning in your head just how to work back Natalie in when she's ready, or are you so just entrenched on what's going on and you'll worry about that when it comes?
Yeah, I think that's something that we'll just worry about when it comes. And, as she kind of gets back in and we see where her confidence is, where her attributes. I mean, Natalie Potts, after being named Freshman of the Year, just went to work, where some people kind of let their foot off the gas. I was the Freshman of the Year in the Big Ten. I had a lot of early success. She hated that people would play off of her. And so she was just shooting 70-something% from the three-point line before she went down after that. The way she worked to become a better three-point shooter in that offseason, well, that's what we're watching her do right now in her rehab is, she's a way better ball handler than she's ever been, that I've ever seen. She's picking up new skills that I think are going to broaden her game when she does get back on the court with us. So until I actually kind of see that in the flow with the rest of our team and roster, I'm not going to make any too early assumptions about kind of how that's going to work. I'm just going to kind of let that play out when it does.
Amy, with the schedule, you have the game this weekend, but you have the week off leading up to it, then you have another week off. Just based on the one game and whatever, a 2-week span, do you worry a little bit about some of the momentum that you built in non-con kind of waning a little bit?
No, I really haven't worried about that. What I've been excited about is just the coach's dream of you're kind of in it all of a sudden, and we're kind of compiling a list of things that, we want to get this late game look in, or we want to have this situational, we need to work on this ball screen coverage. And, we've kind of had this list that we haven't really been able to focus on because it's always been game prep for the next game and game prep for the next game. And so last week provided a couple of days, and this week during finals week provided a couple days where we were not necessarily in preparation for our next opponent, but just working on polishing up Nebraska and what we need to get better at and what we need to have ready. And so I've looked at that as just an absolute blessing. And I think it's provided our kids the perfect opportunity to just to focus on finishing the semester strong and do what they need to do to take care of finals. Okay, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
You guys have obviously been scoring a lot offensively. How much better do you think you guys can still get on that side of the ball? And what areas do you feel like can still be improved?
Yeah, I mean, I think our depth is one of our biggest contributors. So when you have however many points coming off the bench a night, it's really exciting. I think just what we can get better at is just like kind of that consistency on the defensive side. Coach, we can always get better at rebounding, always get better at transition defense. So we're always just trying to find areas of growth.
Where have you seen Amaya grow the most from last year this year?
I just love her confidence this season. She's always put in the work, and it's just natural each year that you spend here. You just get more and more confident. You feel like you can grow on the system, and she's just grabbing every opportunity with two hands, and I'm so proud of her. But just her confidence and just she's just maturing so much.
What's it been like? You guys are undefeated. The men are undefeated. Just what is the feel around Nebraska basketball right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting times. I think both us and the men are just. It just looks like we're having fun at the moment, and it's just really exciting for us as a school to see that. But just taking day by day, focusing on what's next, and not looking too far ahead or reading too much into stuff, I think is really important at the moment.
What would it mean to finish off the non-con and unbeaten, and then you get a little more time off and head into Big Ten play?
Yeah, I mean we're prepping already for CBU, and you can't look too far ahead of what's next in the Big Ten play, but just I think it's really important for us to keep this momentum rolling, and I know that's going to carry over after our Christmas break just into the Big Ten play, which is really exciting that we're already here. But it's just huge for our program to be undefeated at the moment, but just taking it day by day, as I said, just really important seeing what's next and how we can handle that.
How stressful is this week for you as a student athlete? Game prepping, but you also have finals and final projects due this week.
Yeah, it's pretty stressful. But our coaches do a great job of pouring into us as just holistically, and academics are really important here in our team. And so, we coaches little saying of the week has been using practice as a study break just to clear our heads, which I think has been really fun this week. We've had a lot of fun at practice, and I think it's part of being a student athlete, just pouring into all different areas. But it's been pretty stressful, but I'm done now, so I'm free to just focus on the game this weekend. So.
Anything else for Jess? Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Guys.